Hello there. Another day, another example of biased, warped responses from His Majesty's police, this time outside a Jewish-run restaurant. But where does all this stem from? Well, the uniparty central government chose its side many years ago, in fact many decades ago. And all that has happened since has flown from that pro-internationalist, anti-UK decision, to the point that those bodies formerly tasked with protecting us have to lie through their teeth while they pretend to do the right thing. And a sufficient number of warped, woke Marxists are now allowed to get into positions of authority to support this warped set of governments. As it says in the title to the video, warped government leads to warped policing. Like the police recruiting the unrecruitable just to fill quotas, or lying to us about why they banned Maccabi football supporters from a game. The warped police hierarchy reacting to warped government policies. In fact, it leads to warped everything, including to warped communities, unless we patriots put a stop to it. News is emerging that the Met Police stood there paralysed as a group of protesters targeted a Jew-owned restaurant. Here's what the Telegraph says. Police stood by as protesters targeted Israeli restaurant in Notting Hill. Officers appear immobile during the demonstration, said by Tory leader to be another example of incitement to violence against Jews. Well, handily, the protesters stood under a banner proclaiming they were International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network, with the implication that they were all anti-Zionist Jews protesting against their fellow Zionist Jews. But who's to say the restaurant owners are Zionist Jews? I don't know. Have they proclaimed it? So if it really was purely Jew-on-Jew disputing, then why did the police hang back in such a way? Why weren't they in there with the dogs, horses and the rest of it like they do when the patriots turn up? After all, if the preferred demographic was absent, then the gloves can come off, can't they? Unless the Met bosses know something more about this particular anti-Zionist group. More on that in a minute. And as the uniparty government has made it quite clear over decades that action against the new preferred demographic is unacceptable, then of course the police will hang back just in case. They don't want to spark a really unhandleable riot, do they? So it's all the fault of the Met Police then, is it? I'm not at all convinced with that shallow blame-diverting argument. Our police forces are merely another arm of His Majesty's government. Remember, when His Majesty's government orders His Majesty's police to round up certain rioters and remand them, it is done with excessive zeal. And when His Majesty's government orders His Majesty's courts to lock them up with long sentences, the courts act with alacrity. And when His Majesty's government orders His Majesty's prisons, well, you get my point. And further, it's not just the Jews who can no longer trust UK authorities, it's also anyone with any patriotic bent at all that is now considered as persona non grata by the warped establishment. Now, the restaurant's own security guards, yes, they have to have security guards, have previously complained about Met Police inaction. In fact, they said they felt ambushed when things like this happened. And according to the owners, this is the 7th time this has happened. Can you imagine what would happen if one single Muslim business was harassed in this manner? Now the Met Police put out a statement, and in it they said the following. Officers were present as part of a policing plan to ensure people can exercise their right to protest peacefully while ensuring that those in the wider community can go about their lives without serious disruption. A 35-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of chants that constituted acts intended to stir up religious hatred, and the protest disbanded shortly after the arrest was made. The arrested individual has since been bailed. One wonders if he'd been bailed if it had been a patriotic type setup. Anyway, the whole point here is that nothing really happened, did it? And the police hung back. And how can a group where both sides are purported to be Jewish end up making chants stoking religious hatred? I can't quite see that happening. Something tells me that banner about Zionism was a mere woke Marxist-led cover. In fact, I took a look at their website and found an article linked from their homepage which disturbingly states things like, have I got it here? Yes. October the 7th marks a turning point in the fight for Palestinian self-determination. It is a day that lies at the heart of the mass movement it incited. That is there today. That statement is there today on their website. And I have to ask, why is it still being allowed to stand today? And the author also talks about taking inspiration from Layla Khalid, who in 1969 became the first female to hijack an aeroplane. And the Met Police just stand idly by while this organisation happily struts about the place, spitting their bile at Jews. Once again, the use of the word Zionism muddies the water, but most of us do see the underlying anti-Semitism. But at the end of the day, these are all symptoms of the failing anti-UK Marxist woke ideology that now runs like a river of slime through our monarchy, government, parliament and all their bureaucrats, distorting all in its path. Always remember, it is not the police in isolation. The laws and the rules our government puts in place, together with the backdoor instructions, have all led to this warped justice system, and to our warped education system, and to our warped, well, just keep the list going. It's the warped system that makes this all possible, this whole warped reaction to everything that goes on. It's about time we got rid of them, isn't it? Anyway, enough of my diatribe. Yes, Starmer is a coward, says P.W. Wright. Stand up the Iranian people. Yeah, he wouldn't stand up for them. There's not enough votes in it, is there? English self-determination would be good, says Rabbi Malakia. Yeah, that would mean England breaking away from the rest of the UK, basically, to make self-determination. UK self-determination is now leading to claims that any move to have an English or a UK, especially English, UK, sort of self-determination is ethno-nationalism now, by the way. Yes, they're trying to make that argument. Scottish nationalism, of course, is not ethno-nationalism, nor is Irish self-determination, nor is Welsh self-determination. But English self-determination is always put forward as some form of ethno-nationalism. And they're trying to put forward Zionism as a form of ethno-nationalism. What they fail to recognise is that 20% of those living in Israel are not Jews. and they live there happily. Very happily, in fact. And some of them, quite a few of them, joined the IDF. And they were operating in Gaza, non-Jews. So it's not ethno-nationalism. It's trying to put together a cohesive society made up of like-minded people. And when you do that, you do not want interlopers coming in to try and destroy your society, do you? But that's what's going on across the world. The Marxists are out there in strength, trying to recalibrate the world behind their agenda, and a failing agenda, an agenda that damages humanity, damages humans. So you've got to get rid of them for a start. Yeah, as Lee says, they really do hate us, this government. Yes, they do. They don't like us at all. In fact, we're getting in the way. We're not doing as instructed. We're not doing as instructed. We must stand there and take everything they throw at us at all times of night and day. But we don't. And when we argue and we get in the way and start getting upset and protesting, they don't like us at all. Yeah. Actually, this is a good point. Allah was the first Zionist according to the Quran. Yeah, didn't he say something about about the Jews needing their own position, their own place? Something along those lines. I'll have to look up the exact wording and maybe use it. But it is something I've read about on X and other places, and it seems to be a true statement. So there you go. Yeah, this is something that does sort of stick in the craw, doesn't it? I'm sick and tired of Muslims, says taxi driver, claiming that the UK is now a Muslim country. This is so cheeky and very rude. Muslims, take note. This is not and never will be a Muslim country. Go back to the desert. Well, a bit strong maybe, but this saying that this will never be a Muslim country, unless we change our birth rates. Sorry, that's the end of it. It's our birth rate in this country that is the problem here. We will just erode ourselves away. That's our fault. If we can't be bothered to bring up children to continue on our whole heritage, then our heritage will disappear. Go the way of the Incas and all the rest of it. Just disappear. So we have to be careful there. And as Marvin says, yes, they don't like Trump either. Yeah, Trump seems to be the sort of the fly in the optic, doesn't he? A lot of people think he's just another actor. He's just playing the game. I don't get that impression personally. He's going too far, too fast. And he's really making it his mission, isn't he, to put his thumb in that optic, as they say. So, yeah, we'll just have to watch with interest. If he manages to help overthrow this awful Iranian regime and get the Iranians back into running their own country as they did before in a much better way, then maybe there's hope, because that will really pull the rug from under the whole Islamist program. It will help do that. A lot of the funding would go. People like Hezbollah, Hamas and the Houthis will suddenly find themselves with no money. They'd have to get it all from Qatar. Anyway, I'm not sure that would happen. But there was an incident in America, wasn't there, yesterday, where a truck was driven into a crowd of Iranian protesters, or anti-Iranian regime protesters. And this guy was saying no Shah as well as no, But there is a group of people out there, the MEK, I think they're called, who are, as I understand it, ardent Islamists who just want to make sure that somehow or other a massively dictatorial Islamist regime remains. So they're trying to muddy the waters and saying no to the Shah, no to the current regime, but replace it with something else that may be even worse. And that's the thing. This is far more complex out there than people realise. It's the same. I've said before on this channel, I've said if we ever get into that position here in this country, there are so many factions in this country, they'll be fighting amongst themselves. It's not just going to be one against the other. It's going to be lots of little factions all fighting for their little territories, their ways of life, their this, that and the other. That's why we have to be very careful about wishing for such things. Yeah. Yeah, disgusting government, says Andy from England. Yeah, this is part of the point that I was just talking about. As Asmo RL says, I do and always have, which was a reaction to PW Wright. My main problem is the Iranians need to get rid of this Crown Prince dickhead that he wants to take control. It was his family's fault this happened in the first place. Yes, there's a big argument out there that because of what his family got up to before the Ayatollahs got hold of, gave the Ayatollahs the chance to get in the first place. And they took advantage of it. Now, is that same thing going to happen again with the likes of the MEK? And you do have to ask yourself that. Yeah, this government now hates us, no question, says PW Wright. Yeah, I do agree. It's just too much, isn't it, really? Yeah. Sorry, I've still got this cough. Yeah, this is part of the game, isn't it? Divide and conquer, says Lord Viking Live. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is another thing. Yeah, I can't even read the name. All is in one land. Yeah, okay. I'm only interested in UK problems, sick of hearing about the world's problems. I can understand that. The trouble is the world's problems do impact on us, even if we were to go isolationist, because we need to get stuff from abroad. We need to keep friendly relations with people and all the rest of it. And to do that, you end up, who do you sell the weapons to? Whoever it is, it's wrong. And if you don't sell the weapons, you don't make enough profit to make your own weapons and all this. So there's all these arguments come out. So, yeah, it's a very difficult one. We do need to keep engaged with the world, but at the right level. And what our governments over the years have done is say, the best way to engage with the world is to import it. If you import it all, then that's going to be wonderful, isn't it? We'll be friendly with everybody. And look how that's turned out. Brilliant, eh? Yes, Yam's physical catalogue of media. Thank you very much. English, Christian, white and proud, not ethno. This is a big point. You can be English, Christian, white and proud. Doesn't make you an ethno-nationalist. It just makes you proud of who you are. Everybody else on the planet is encouraged to be proud of who they are by our woke Marxists, aren't they? Come here and be proud of what you are. But you English, you stand there. You must not be proud of what you are. You must go and sit in the corner wearing your white supremacy hat and all the rest of it. Yeah. And I say no to that. And thank you again, Yam's physical catalogue of media. Sadly, it's not safe to have kids right now in the UK. It should be, shouldn't it? And it shouldn't be putting us off. Shouldn't be putting us off. We need to have children. We need to protect them. And we need to bring them up right. We need to generate a whole new generation of people who are better and more patriotic than we are. And we can't do that by putting off the day of having children, I'm afraid. It doesn't work like that. No one else is holding back. They're not holding back because they know they have a nice country to send them to where they get lots and lots of money. Your money. So it's not as easy as that, I'm afraid. Oh dear. Oh dear, what's this one here? There's a comment from PW Wright. They are not Muslim in Iran. Yes, you're absolutely right. This is one of the big things. We're always being told it's a big Islamic nation. No, it's not, as is being proved right now. Oh, and G. KSC says to me, Jeff reminds me of my dad. Well, I'm probably old enough. And thank you, the Black Nothing. Labour are idle communists. Same with the Democrats here in the US. Import a voter bloc and steal the country. Yes, the trouble is that as Labour found out, you import a voter bloc, and guess what happens? You don't toe their line on international politics with regard to Gaza, and suddenly they're not voting for you, are they? And that's going to happen more and more. But Labour don't seem to be holding back on continuing the conveyor belt, do they? Do they really think they'll win these people round? If they think they're going to do that, then they must have some really seriously warped plans on what they're going to be doing in the future, mustn't they? Compost Smurf says Trump is doing as he's told. Another one accepting hundreds of millions from foreign interests. Is he accepting hundreds of millions in dollars? Is he doing that? Or is he trying to sort out the problem using ICE and getting a lot of flack for it? If he's bringing foreign investment into his country, it depends how it's being spent, where it's being spent, and where it's being invested, and by whom. We go after foreign investment in this country. So do most other countries. It's a way of getting money in, but it's how you deal with it. But I don't know. It's a good point. Well asked. Trump is heading for Greenland and Cuba. Yes, it's. I'm wondering whether he's personally doing it, or he's rattling the sabre to make sure that other people step up to the mark. And already, where Greenland is concerned, the EU and we are offering troops as well. That means that we and the EU, or parts of the EU, are going to be spending more money on defence to put into Greenland. So maybe he's getting his way by the back door without spending any American money. Good, something to think about. And Cuba, I mean, that is really in America's backyard, isn't it? And when you think of the Cuban Missile Crisis, you get how tender that spot is, don't you? Really, it could be used by anybody. Anybody could get in there if they got the right amount of dosh and go to the Cuban government. I don't know. It is. I still think it's a soft spot for a tender spot for the American government and the American people. It could have been the end of them if that missile, or the end for all of us, if that missile crisis had turned out any other way. Didn't the prince convert to Islam? I don't know. Good question, well asked. If he did, then there's more questions to ask, isn't there? I don't know is the answer to that one, sorry. God bless Donald J. Trump, says Malkster. Yeah, if he's doing the right thing, God bless him. Yeah, I just think he is a flawed man doing the best he can. Everybody's an expert in geopolitics. Have you seen that? Everybody knows exactly what's going on, just them. And every one of them disagrees with all the others. So all I can do is say what I see. And I'm human, so I get things wrong constantly. And a lot of people don't admit that. They won't admit that. I will. And so would Richard as well. We have arguments about it. Who's most wrong? Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, Colombia and Mexico, says Groucho Marx McGeorge. He's making saber-rattling noises, isn't he, Trump? There was an article in the Telegraph, was it yesterday, saying Donald Trump owns the world. We should just let them get on with it. Well, okay, if that's what you want. But I would much rather see us engaging better. But to engage better, you need to build a cohesive country, a cohesive community that's properly defended. And if you have international interests, you must have a means of protecting your international interests. You cannot rely on the soft power of the monarchy, especially when the monarchy's soft power is more aligned with those that don't like us. If you want soft power, you've got to have hard power behind it, hard power that everyone can see, but you don't have to use. It's this thing of talk softly but carry a big stick. Same concept. Iron fist in the velvet glove. It's all the same concept. The trouble is, what we're going round now is we're talking softly with a limp twig in our hands, and it's the velvet glove containing a soft, squidgy, plastic sort of pliable fist. There's nothing there. There's no will there for a start. No will from our establishment to protect us. The only thing that they have recognised, our establishment, is that the first duty of the establishment, of the state, is to protect itself. Everybody says the first duty of the state is to protect us. No. Their first duty is always to protect themselves, because they can't protect us unless they still exist. The trouble is that they've taken that to extremes and don't care about us. You've got to remember that when the establishment is protecting us against foreign invasion, who gets sent to the battlefield? The establishment or you and I? We do. We get sent there. That's our job, to protect the establishment via wars on foreign soil or standing in trenches on our own soil. So bear that in mind. The establishment always protects itself first and foremost. Anyway, there you go. Ugh. So if I miss these two comments out, or this one, sorry. My nose is playing up at the moment. To chat, don't be convinced not to have kids during hard times. It never stopped people before. If you can have kids, a family is worth fighting for. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, that's really important as far as I'm concerned. Now is the time to have them, to bring up good people that believe in their country. I know it's hard to think about, but that's what I think anyway. Oh, dear. So I'm just reading through the comments. Right, here's an interesting one. Britain could end up like Iran, and it's happening so fast. There was a X video I saw this morning just before I came online from an Iranian saying that, do you believe it or not, you Brits could soon be coming over to Iran because it'll be safer than living in the UK. How many times have we been warned in the UK about allowing hardline Islamism to run rife in this country? And those people have been ignored. They've been ignored. In fact, anyone in this country who tried to point it out has been vilified and chased through the courts and imprisoned for doing so. So we are going down that route unless we stop it now. And that's the real truth. So there you go. Oh dear, here we go. Zionism is an evil mafia and antichrist, just like yourself, Tavarich. Oh dear. James Burke. Yeah, okay. Yeah, our place in the world has gone down faster than Bonnie Blue. Oh dear. Starmer is less popular in this country than Hitler was. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. And Asmo RL says, a free Iran is essential for UK politics. People can go home. Yeah, this is the whole thing, isn't it? If countries can sort their countries out properly, if they can sort their democracies out, then people can go home. Yeah. Are we going to repeat history? I don't know. Some people are saying, oh, I love this one. Jeff, stop it, you are clueless, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, people all say that. I say that most people that I've seen and read, they all come out with these big predictions and big projections. This is right, that's right. None of it ever happens. None of it ever happens. All I'm trying to do is point out what might happen and where I think it might be going. I'm trying my best. I'm not making any pronouncements that I'm dead on right. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. It's my view. But yeah, so I'll keep on spouting. Now, Brits can't get homes, let alone have a family. And that's our own fault. We haven't voted for the right people, have we? We've allowed these people into Parliament. We've allowed them through. We've allowed them to take our money. Right now, they're taking all our tax money, aren't they? We're just letting them rip our money out of our bank accounts, and we're letting them spend it on whatever they want to. We need to change the way we vote and the way we think about those people in power. Those people in power have power because we give it to them. Now, this is another person. Cheryl says the Crown Prince of Iran is only there for the interim. The people will then vote for what kind of government they want. Now, that is another view. Is he? I don't know. I'd like to think so, and that's my sort of understanding. But once people taste power, have you noticed how they seem to want to keep it? And you've then got to wonder, how is he going to exercise what power he has? Most of the power that's been exercised in Iran over the last, 30 years is IRGC, the Islamic Republican Guard Corps. Who else is there? Who else has got the organisation and all the rest of it to run a cohesive police force and a cohesive military? You have to think these things through. And it's much easier for people just to pronounce and say, oh, you don't know anything, you don't know this, you don't know that. At the moment, all I see from coming out of Iran is flames and violence. How soon do you think that's going to end? Do you think retribution is on people's minds after all these years? So, yeah. Anyway. I'm suffering a little bit here with my throat still. As you can hear, it's still a bit gritty. So I'll call a halt here and say thank you very much for engaging with me on this one. And I hope to see you later on this evening. With Richard might be back. He says he might be feeling better later on. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. And please like, subscribe, comment below, become a channel member if you wish. Please do, because it helps us out a lot. And if you can help us out, if you like what we do, please do think of helping. It will be really appreciated. So love to you all, and I hope you have a great day. And let's hope that Iran does end up, in the end, as a nice, democratic, peaceful nation. And let's hope we in the UK have the kahunas to take charge of our own futures and vote the right people in to start changing things to where they should be for this once great country. And on that note, I'll say it's goodbye from me.